And that explains how the first step, how it is that Hashem knows all the creatures, the whole creation, and yet he did not come to practical presence as a result of that knowledge. And then the next step, that after that they had come to be already, the type of creatures that result from this knowledge, they're really full-fledged presences. They have their own means of activity. They can choose their path. And this Indian that you choose their path is really kind of contradictory to the principle that they are rooted in this knowledge. How can it be? They can choose their path even to the extent that they can do something contrary to that which directed them to be. They're independent creatures, coming from something, from an idea, not only coming, and supported by that knowledge after they're created. How can it be that has no effect? So the term that is used to kind of encapsulate this concept is that is done with Havdalah, that he knows the Prince Havdalah in the Havdalah manner. So we discussed yesterday Havdalah. I don't know to what extent and to what extent each one of us recognize the significance of this word, Havdalah. The difficulty in this word Havdalah is that there is the use of this word on a simple worldly level. Where two things are separate. But if two things are separate, they do not affect one another. They do not create one another. They do not inspire one another. And there's a communication with words, but by presence, they don't inspire. They're separate. But here we're seeing something completely different. That the divine knowledge is absolutely touching all the creatures, the whole creation, and inspiring them, and giving them its support, and giving them its inspiration and its capabilities. And yet, they have a certain sense of independence. And per se, they can choose their own path in life within the environment that they operate. That seems to be directly contradicting the statement that they come and they come to be and they support and give life from that source. Once you speak, you realize that there is something that needs to be added. This principle that the creature, the creation, gets life from the divine source. Okay, is an important principle. Just to put it very simply, you eat a fruit and you say, "Bone." We still say this fruit really grew out of the ground. But by the time we eat it, it's completely dissociated from the ground. We're not eating fruit on the ground. We're eating fruit from the ground, but not fruit on the ground. The fact that it's rooted in the ground does not affect our eating it. And it's insignificant to us, the fact that it came from the ground. It's not part of the experience of eating it. Experience of eating it at the state when you have it totally dissociated from anything else. But we say that the divine knowledge provides for the creation. And this creation is moved off from its source. Because its source, not this movement, the source is, the knowledge of the source is on a different level, it's on a movable level. It does not, chas v'sholem, mean that they're literally separate. If there is no direct influence on the knower, then the knowledge is insignificant. This is extremely important for us to realize. We don't see Hashem, and yet, when we pray, what do we say? Baruch Ata. Ata means lenoichach, as if like you're facing your own friend. In other words, we recognize his presence in a factual sense. So we're not dissociated. If we should conceive ourselves as dissociated, we lose completely our spirit. What are we? In no man's land. Even if we don't lose the basic orientation, what's the point? So the presence of the source, of the giver, of the knower is absolutely there. And yet, that presence does not affect our own choice of lives, of path. We are living that, we are pursuing it because of his presence. This is what gives us the inspiration to act. And yet, we turn around and start thinking, okay, where am I? There's a pasuk. I didn't journey through the Midbar. You know that it was quite a colorful journey, all kinds of different experiences. And the Torah summarizes from time to time the principle of the journey. And in one place the Torah says that even we're made to remember and punished, in a sense, for Hashem, for their testing Hashem. What was their test? And the pasuk says clearly, Hayesh Hashem b'kibeinu imon. Is Hashem here with us or is not? And the mind-boggling representation of the influence of this question is, you're eating man that comes down from the sky, from the heavens. You're eating slav that is being flown in from no place. You're eating water that is being flowed from no place. And Hayesh Hashem b'kibeinu. It's as a result of that, like in today's parsha. In today's parsha, at the end of Rashab, where we are more like. Our mother comes to remind us, Hashem b'kibeinu. So Rashab brings down from the Medrash a mushroom. A person is walking and he's carrying his child on his shoulder, and the child is a very curious kid, and he sees something on the ground. He says, "Patty, can you pick this up for me?" Sure, he picks up for me. As he continue walking, he sees something else. He says, "Can you get me that?" Sure. And as they're walking, they're met by someone by a stranger. They meet somebody on the way. The child turns to this stranger and says, "Excuse me, did you see my father?" So the mother says, and Rashab brings down, "What? You don't know where your father is?" So the father takes the son and puts him down on the ground. And what happens then? So the dog, the Amalek, comes immediately and he says, "Oh, I'm here." This is the significance of Yovi Amalek. It says, so Hashem let him off from his lap, from his hand, and from his shoulder, from holding him. And all of a sudden, they're on their own. And the caliph comes and he barks at them. They bite him or not. That depends already. Maybe should protect him from being bitten, but he's definitely barks at them. So this Hayesh Hashem that Eden should ask, is Hashem there with us? This is not the Havdalah that is intended here. He's given his options and choices, but not to forget that Hashem is a woman. Then you lose it all. You're not the same human being. If Eden starts saying Chas v'Sholom, Hayesh Hashem b'kibeinu imoyin, and when it says these words, right, then the caliph comes and bites you. You can't survive one day like that. Besides that, the caliph comes and bites you. You lose your own self-identity. Who are you? What is the ground that you're treading on? What's the significance of this whole environment? So this is something which I wanted to emphasize, that the fact that the idea is Muvdelas and gives us a choice, so it does not ever mean that we lose sense that there is definitely a father's hand that's holding us. We may be rebellious, we may be Balitaiba, we want something that is contrary to his wishes, but not to forget that he is there, that is impossible. So the most that we can bring out in this situation is that he does his own choice, but not that he forget completely the environment that he is in. As I'm talking, coming to this point, it strikes me very, very, very painfully. We can be Balei Taiva. We want to eat whatever we want to do anything in the world. But if we should turn for one instant to Avodah the Zorah, this is a Yeshem Hashem Mikibenu. This is a total association. There's an impossibility. That kind of dissociation was not provided for in this Havdalah. This Havdalah allows you to pursue things that your taivas, your interest carry you on, but not that you create a new world, a new reality. That is not part of that situation, of that dissociation and bechira. That's why, as Moshe says, then the killer comes right away and bites. Normally, if you do a sin, you're given a chance to reflect and to recoup and so forth, and catch yourself back. But the caliph comes immediately and bites you. This is an important principle to understand. All right, we are in the second line from the top on page Kuf Nun Hey. In the middle of that line. And as we always know, the further we go, the more subtle the concepts become. Before I go on, having said that, I want to explain what is the pursuit over here. We thought the more you learn, the more clear it should become. He says, no, the more you learn, the more subtle it becomes, the more vague it becomes, the more distant it becomes. So what's the point? So we are forewarned to begin with that yes, indeed, that's where we're going. And yes, indeed, absolutely, this is where we want to go. This is where we must go. Again, as in every moment of transition, there's a different methodology in terms of learning and finding out about something within one set of parameters, within one category, and the second. This is a breaking point. It's a stepping over. And it demands for us to reflect and start thinking, and start finding, not thinking, finding, how do you understand this? This is a very important principle. Please, gentlemen, it is always important for us to remember, if I don't understand something, it is incumbent upon me to scratch my head and get to understand it. To ask a question is not the answer, it's not what is asked of you. The reason it's presented to you, and it is so subtle and so deep, is because you were given the ability to see it. You have to dig deeper into your own soul. But to go and ask a question, that is not what it's about. It's presented to you because if you look deeper into your own soul, you will see what this is about. And this is where the explanation is. This is where the, so to speak, the side, the secret of this spirit in this is hidden. This is what Hasidus is about. This is what these things are always referred to as a soid. Soid means a secret, which means it's something. A secret is something that exists, but you're not aware of it. It's there. If it were not there, it would not be challenged, giving you a challenge. But you're not aware. So therefore, what is your response to that secret? If I'm being asked this question, I don't know the answer. What am I supposed to do? Ask a question or say, I'm supposed to know this. I have the answer already embedded in my heart and my mind. Let me dig in and find it. That's the job. That's what I'm supposed to do. And you know something? There's no substitute for that. If the answer is provided to you in words, but you did not dig into your own soil of your neshama, that knowledge will bypass you, will be insignificant. You'll be able to give drashas, but you're not going to be really living with it. You have to dig it up from the source. So as I said, now becoming to something even more subtle than what we have been challenged before. The minute of the second line on page Kuf Non Hey. Even as it is, or similar to the way it is, in the realm of Idea and Bechira. Idea, the knowledge that Hashem knows the creation. And yet, that leaves the creature, the creation, at the level where they have Bechira. They have the full influence of his knowledge, the full inspiration, the full reality of their being, because they're Hashem's creations, they're real. And yet, the Bechira, they can choose their way. Not only that, but they have Bechira due to the fact that they are Hashem's creations. Because Hashem creates, he gives them all that he has to give them. And therefore they're full-fledged beings. A being is whatever the environment is, he chooses, identifies the environment on his own. He's free to identify and study it and learn it and test it. So the same, even similar, just as it is in this realm of Idiyah Bchiro, K'moy Kain, similarly, who this is surfaces, this is also true at a different level. Behabitul, in the element of bitul, word bitul means self-nullification. A child is being carried by his father. So there are two aspects. On one hand, he appreciates his father's holding him. He appreciates his father's carrying him. He feels his father's affection and love and concern. This is in terms of his relationship to his father. In terms of his own self-identity, he knows full well that he cannot make his trek. He's not moving these feet and inches by any of his effort, by any of his contribution. It's completely his father's doing. In order for him to be carried by his father, he has to abandon his own presence to his father. I'll go, not where you tell me to go. Where you carry me, that's where I go. This is beetle. Till now, we were talking about choice. It's a one level of beetle. on one level of self-identity. Yes, here I'm a creation, but I can make choices. Now we go to a deeper yin. He's a creation, and he's bottled in terms of his own self-identity. I was created. I have no orientation. What is this creation represent? How do I orient myself? What do I know? What do I not know? I know only that which I'm shown by the Creator. Like the child being carried by the father. When the child is being carried by the father, he moves only because his father's legs moves, not because he moves. He's not a contributor. He's totally discounted in this whole activity. Similarly, this is a second stage. The beetle of Kol HaNivroim, okay, at the end of the second line. Kmoikin likewise, who beetle is also true in the element of beetle. Shekol HaNivroim, that all the creations, Beteilim, are bottom. They have absolutely no self-identity. What are they? They are that which is known by the Creator. Mitzad, why did they become bottle? These few line words are very important. Mitzad, due to the principle, Bechinas Tzir Kema Diak. Because of the Bechina, because of the aspect of Tzir Koima. Tzir Koima means the structure of Odom Kadmon. It's going to take a little while, but I have to go there. Slowly we'll develop. What is this additional? They're bottled because they have no self. They haven't made them themselves. They didn't create themselves. They were created by the Creator. So therefore, they're bottled. Coming back to the child being carried with his father. The child is completely bottled in terms of movement because it is his father's movement that carries him. He's not a participant in it at all. That is a very simple, down-to-earth and uniform beetle. This is not the beetle that we're talking about today. Why not? Because this beetle is net negative. There is nothing given to him as a result of this beetle. What's the point of this beetle? Beetle is a means of accepting something that you cannot accept with your own dirty hands. Pardon me. You cannot accept with your own limited facilities. That's what beetle is. So if this were beetle in a simple sense of the word, there's no point. The beetle is due. It's a pure koma, beginners. Pure koma the Odom Kadmon. Odom Kadmon is the topmost element of world. Odom Kadmon, this is where the world is perceived. In that perception of world, there's a full-fledged influence of where it's coming from, of the divine spirit. Tzir Komod Ak is effectuated by the where in Soip that's above it. Shir Kol Mediak is completely bottled to this AYIN Sof. And it experiences the AYIN Sof of Elokus.
Because of its closeness.
Because of its closeness, because of its source. Closeness and all that is not sufficient for that. Because of its beetle. That it consists exclusively in that which is provided from above. This is what Shir Kol Mediak. Adam Kadmon means pristine man. We spoke about it a little before. Adam means a man. A man is a full structure of a being. So there's been pinnacle of existence. But this man is fully sensitive to the oil that he represents. One second. For these things, we need mashali. We need to bring it to ourselves. Go down to the lowest level. You study mathematics and become adept at it. They create all kinds of theories, it's interesting. It becomes very complex, and you can correlate two things with such subtle correlations. Where does that correlation come from? From your wisdom or from the divine creation? If you perceive that this is your wisdom, you're missing the whole, you don't have it. The significance of that whole formulation, all the theories and all that, is to identify how great the world that I created and that Rebbe created is. The deeper you study the world, the more you recognize this in it. It's not because of your wisdom. You're not conjuring, you're not inventing these things. This is part of the Rebbe's creation. The atom. Oh, what a discovery. What wisdom. Where does the atom come from? Who conceptualized the atom? Who conceptualized to create a world based on subatomic particles? If we, in our wisdom, can identify all these things and forget what it stands for, where it's coming from, we have nothing. Then the discovery of the atom, discovery of all this wisdom leads you down the pit. It's interesting, in the history of science, there were brilliant scientists. It's amazing. The path of life that each one took could be diametrically different. What was the first message that was transmitted over the telegraph?
What wonder of God. You come up with these things. You get them.
Oh, God, look what we did. But it strikes us, hey, this is part of the creation that God made. And we were given the privilege of discovering it through all kinds of different processes. And if we lose that, then we lose the whole.
We reached the limit of our
What?
we reached the limit of our gather, our madriga here.
In terms of the timing?
Right. Unless we just stay here all day, we just stay here.
Not to be all day, just finish the line.